we going, fellas? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to round 22 of the 2021 NRL Telstra Premiership. Hope you guys are doing well on this Tuesday night. It is 6:45 p.m. Hope you guys are doing well during these lockdowns as well. I know they can be quite tough. It's only day 2 for lockdown for where I am in Lismore, so hopefully things get better soon. But yeah, it's going to be a great round of footy. We've got some huge games this weekend. Obviously, on Saturday night, an old rivalry game, Manly versus Parramatta, 6th versus 4th on the ladder, a very big game for both sides, actually. Whoever loses that game could well and truly miss out on the top 4, so it's a very big game. And also on Sunday, Cronulla versus Newcastle, 10th versus 9th on the ladder. The loser of that game could well and truly miss the finals altogether, so... And there's so many big games this weekend, so important as well, as in terms of, you know, trying to make the top 8, trying to make the top 4, trying to avoid the bottom 4. There's some huge games this weekend. But anyway, let's get into it. Round 22 of the Telstra Premiership kicks off on Thursday night. It is the Melbourne Storm up against the Canberra Raiders. It is a top 8 clash, 1 versus 8 on the ladder. Melbourne versus Canberra. Melbourne are favourites here at $1.05. Canberra are at $9. This game is being played on Thursday night at the Sunshine Coast Stadium, kicking off at 7:50 p.m. 50% capacity crowds are allowed in as well, so it'll be good to see some crowds in this weekend. So yeah, Thursday night, Melbourne versus Canberra, Sunshine Coast Stadium. Melbourne $1.05, Canberra $9. I thought Melbourne last week against Manly were very lucky to win. They scored 3 or 4 tries off kicks and Manly mistakes, so I thought they were quite lucky to get the job done there over the Seagulls. As for the Raiders, they had a win over the Dragons, but it was not convincing at all. A very sloppy game of football there. Look, for this one, the only way Canberra can win is if they get out to an incredible lead and just try and hold on with their defence. But, you know, you look at Canberra, they're not the team they were last year and the year before. So look, I think Melbourne win Thursday night, and I think they win really well. I just can't see Canberra matching it. Melbourne have too much quality. Whether you like them or you hate them, I hate them. I don't like them at all. But they will win this game very well Thursday night. I'm going to go to Melbourne Storm here, 42 points to 6. And I reckon Josh Addo-Carr will score 3 tries. He'll collect a hat-trick on Thursday night. And I reckon Cameron Munster will be the man in the match with about 4 or 5 try assists. Melbourne to win, 42 points to 6 on the Thursday night. Let's move on to Friday night football. First game kicking off at 6 p.m. It's a doubleheader at Suncorp Stadium. It is the St. George Illawarra Dragons up against the Penrith Panthers. The Panthers are $1.10 favourites. The Dragons at $6.50. Yeah, 6 o'clock on Friday night at Suncorp Stadium. Look, the Dragons for mine, they've just, ever since the Paul Vaughan barbecue incident, they've fallen off a cliff. Things have gone bad to worse. They can't seem to win any games lately. They haven't won a game for quite some time, the Dragons. As for the Panthers, well, they beat the Roosters last week. It wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. Look, I'm hoping the Dragons can be competitive here, and I reckon they will, because I don't think Penrith's attack is that great without Nathan Cleary, and I don't think Nathan Cleary will play, even though he's named in the reserves. But I'm going to tip Penrith here. I'm going to go Penrith by 12. Panthers 24 points to 12 here. I reckon Matt Burton will score a try once again like he did last week. And I reckon Isaiah Yeo will be the man in the match. So Panthers to win by 12. 24 points to 12 on Friday night. Let's move on to the other game on Friday night. Kicking off at 8:05 p.m. at Suncorp Stadium. Concluding the doubleheader. It is the Brisbane Broncos up against the Sydney Roosters. The Roosters are $1.20 favourites. The Broncos at $4.50. Now, I thought the Broncos showed some good signs late in that second half against Newcastle last Thursday night. They've had a very long time to prepare for this game because they played last Thursday. They play Friday, so they get an 8-day turnaround, which is pretty good for them. As for the Chooks, they were very frustrating to watch the other night against Penrith. They made a lot of uncharacteristic errors, and they do have a lot of injuries to Roosters, but they just keep finding a way to get the job done. the Roosters. Look, the Broncos for mine, they'll be competitive for a while here, but I think the Roosters will be a little bit too good on Friday night. And you got to remember as well, last time these sides played, the Broncos beat the Roosters at the SCG when it was Jake Friend's retirement, and the Broncos beat them, I think it was 34-16 or something. So that game will definitely be in their minds, but I'm going to go the Roosters here. They have too much to play for. Top 4 is up for grabs here, so I'm going to go the Roosters here by 18 points. Roosters to win, 28 points to 10. I reckon Satili Tupanua will score a try this weekend in the back row, and Sam Walker up against his former side, I reckon he'll be man of the match. So Roosters to win, 28 points to 10 against the Broncos on Friday night. Let's move on to Super Saturday, the first game kicking off at 3 p.m. up there at Seabus Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. It is the South Sydney Rabbitohs up against the Gold Coast Titans. The Rabbitohs are favourites here at $1.20. The Gold Coast are at $5. Now, I thought the Bunnies last Friday night against the Eels were absolutely outstanding. The likes of Cody Walker, Latrell Mitchell, Adam Reynolds, Cameron Murray, the whole spine were just doing what they wanted. They had all the space in the world. As for the Gold Coast, well, they had a good win over the Cowboys on Sunday afternoon. They did show some bad signs at the Gold Coast, a couple of missed tackles late in the game, but this is a very important game for the Gold Coast because they are currently 7th on the ladder. They play Souths this week and Melbourne next week. They have to get a win against one of those two sides, or they could miss the top 8 because Newcastle have a pretty good run, and Cronulla are getting desperate as well, along with a few other sides there, especially Canberra. So this is a very, very important game for the Gold Coast. Look, the Gold Coast, I think they'll be in the game for about 60 minutes, but I think the class of the Bunnies will get home. So I think the Gold Coast can be good here. You know, the Gold Coast might even lead at half-time, but I think South will come over the top of them and get the job done. So I'm going to go the Rabbitohs here. 32 points to 16. The Bunnies to win by 16 points. I reckon Josh Mansour can score a hat-trick on Saturday afternoon on that left wing. And I reckon Latrell Mitchell will be the man of the match on Saturday afternoon. Gold Coast will definitely be competitive, but I'm going to go South Sydney, 32 points to 16 on Saturday afternoon. Let's move on to Saturday night, 5:30 p.m. up there in Townsville at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. It is my team, the North Queensland Cowboys, up against the West Tigers. The Tigers are favourites here at $1.60. The Cowboys at $2.35. The Cowboys have been terrible. They've lost 8 in a row. Their form is really poor. Tamalolo is now out with a fractured hand. It's been a diabolical year for the Cows. As for the Tigers, they had a decent win over the Bulldogs in the weekend, but it was far from impressive. Tough game to call. The Cowboys have got a lot of players out of position. The only thing that makes me want to go to the Cowboys is they beat the Tigers earlier in the year at Leichhardt Oval for the first time in 20 years, and it was the weekend where the Tigers were doing it for Tommy Raudonikis, and the Tigers was shocking, and the Cowboys ended up getting the job done. And there was no Tamalolo for that game as well. You got to remember, look, I'm a Cowboys fan. They've lost 8 in a row. They're getting due for a win, and that win is coming. And I think it's coming this weekend. I'm going to tip the Cowboys to beat the Tigers on Saturday night. There'll be nothing in it. It might even go to Golden Point. Who knows? I'm going to go to the Cowboys here in a really high-scoring game. 26 points to 24 in favour of the Cowboys. I reckon Scott Drinkwater can score a try this weekend. And I reckon Scott Drinkwater will be man of the match. If the Cowboys are to win, Drinkwater's the key for mine. So I reckon the Cowboys will beat the Tigers on Saturday night. 26 points to 24. Drinkwater will score, and I reckon he'll be man of the match. Cows to win, but with absolutely no confidence. Let's move on to the other game on Saturday night, kicking off at 7:30 p.m. up at Sunshine Coast Stadium. It is the Manly Warringah Seagulls up against the Parramatta Eels, an old rivalry game here. Manly are $1.20. Parramatta are at $4.50. Now, Manly, very competitive against the Melbourne Storm last week. But the question is, how much did that game against Melbourne take out of the Seagulls? Can they be a little bit complacent? Because any time you play the Melbourne Storm and you lose, it's very hard to be as good as you were the next week. So it'll be interesting to see how Manly go this weekend. As for Parramatta, well, they've been terrible. Reid Money's out for the year. Campbell Gillard's not playing. They've got players injured in very important positions. I think Parramatta will be very competitive here. I don't think Parramatta will win the game. I think Manly will be a little bit off. Last week against Melbourne, they threw everything at Melbourne, especially in attack. So this game will be tighter than what everyone is predicting. I'm going to go Manly here, 28 points to 18. Manly by 10. I reckon Josh Schuster will score a try. He had a shocker last week. I think he'll be out for a big game. So I reckon Josh Schuster will score any time. And I reckon Tom Trbojevic will be the man of the match. Manly to win, 28-18. But I reckon Parramatta will be up for it early on. So Seagulls to win, 28 points to 18 on Saturday night. Let's move on to Sunday afternoon footy. Now, it's a double header at Redcliffe, which is, not Redcliffe, but yeah, Redcliffe. This is going to be fantastic. Sunday afternoon football kicking off at 1:50 p.m. It is the New Zealand Warriors up against the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. The Warriors are $1.30 favourites here. The Dogs at $3.50. Now, this is a very awkward game for the Warriors because we all saw last week they beat the Sharks who were fighting for the top 8. But how often do you see the Warriors beat a team fighting for the 8 but then lose to a team that's below them? It happens all the time. This is a danger game for the Warriors. Now, the Warriors last week, they were incredible against the Sharks. Great comeback, and they got the job done there. The Dogs, well, they were competitive for a while with the Tigers, but they just couldn't get the job done. This is a hard game to pick because can you trust the Warriors enough to win? That's the real question here. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go the Warriors, but with absolutely no confidence. I think this game will be a really tight one. I don't think the Warriors will win easy. I think it'll be a tight game. I'm going to go the Warriors, 22 points to 18. The Dallin Watene-Lesniak Cup, pretty much. Played for both sides. I reckon the Warriors win by 4 points here. 22 points to 18. I reckon Dallin Watene-Lesniak will score 2 tries on Sunday afternoon. And I reckon Adam Fanua-Blake will be the man of the match. Warriors to win by 4 points, but with absolutely no confidence. And the final game of the round, I reckon this is the game of the round. I'm really keen for this game. Sunday afternoon, kicking off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon at Redcliffe, the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks up against the Newcastle Knights. Newcastle are $1.45 favourites here. Cronulla at $2.75. The Sharks last week led 16-6 and they blew it. Thanks to not going for a penalty goal with 4 minutes to go, which I thought was really stupid. Newcastle last week, they were good against the Broncos, but they were a bit clunky at stages. 9 versus 10 on the ladder. Sharks are in 10th. Sharks are in 9th. The winner of this game, I reckon, plays finals. The loser of this game may miss out. It's such an important game here. 4 weeks to go in the season, and the loser of this game could be done. Very important game. So much on the line. I'm going to tip the Knights, but I reckon in Golden Point. I believe this game on Sunday afternoon will go to Golden Point. It's going to be a tight game. It's a hard one to pick. I'm going to tip Newcastle. I think they're in better form than the Sharks at the moment. Ponga, Clifford, Pearce, they're getting better together as a combination. Connor Watson at lock will be very important. And Bradman Best is all good to play as well. Such a big game, this one. I'm going to go Newcastle in Golden Point. 23 points to 22. I reckon Mitchell Pearce will kick the field goal to win the game for the Knights. I reckon Mitchell Barnett will score a try for Newcastle. And Daniel Saifiti to be the man of the match. I reckon that Daniel Saifiti will run over 220 metres on Sunday afternoon. Newcastle winning Golden Point, 23 points to 22. But guys, they're my tips for round 22 of the NRL. My tips, as you guys would know, I've gone with Melbourne. I've gone with Penrith, Roosters, Rabbitohs. Cowboys are my specials of the round. Seagulls, Warriors, and the Knights. Guys, they're my tips. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic Tuesday night, and I'll see you guys in the next one.